Pranam Maharaj.
Hello. Namaskar.
Pranam Maharaj. Thank you.
Happy Vijaya.
Maharaj.
Vijaya greetings to everybody. Uh,
Thank you,
Namaskar.
Maharaj.
Namaskar,
Namaskar, Maharaj.
Kathleen. Yes. We should start.
Yes.
Yes, Maharaj.
3:30. Uh,
Yes, Maharaj.
Om Stapakaya cha Dharmasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara Varishdaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayostritva Pranamami Muhormuhu Namasri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Sureye Satchisukhasvarupaya Swamini Tapaharini. So let us continue our study of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. This is where we stopped last time. Masmash is asking, Sir, what's the meaning of realization of God? What do you mean by God vision? How does one attain it? See, one great thing, when you go to really a great soul, a spiritually elevated person, or whom at least you feel as someone of great spiritual stature, the best thing is to use their company for such pursuits, sub questions, sub inquiry. Quite often, even when we go to ashramas or seek the company of sadhus, we spend time talking laukik. So, but Master Masha was a great sadhaka himself. He was asking, what is the meaning of realization of God? So, Sri Ramakrishna answers, according to the Vaishnavas, the aspirants and seers of God may be divided into different groups. There are the Pravartaka, the Sadhaka, the Siddha, and the Siddha of Siddha. He who has just set foot on the path may be called a Pravartaka. He has just done the Pravesha, the entry. He has just taken to spiritual life. New entrant. He may be called a sadhaka. He has for some time been practicing spiritual disciplines such as worship, japa, meditation, and the chanting of God's name and glories. So, having taken to spiritual life, he has started practicing disciplines and is a sadhaka by now. So, he is the next grade. From just entry, then he becomes a sadhaka. And then he may be called a siddha. He was known from his inner experience that God exists. Now, till then, till you get the real first transcendental experience of the reality or God or Irishta or whatever it is. See, all the sadhana that we do, whether it is japa or meditation, everything, they are all within the realm of the senses only. In meditation, you try to control the mind, but then you are still in the realm of the mind only. You have not gone beyond the mind. So the first sign of anything that is spiritual is there is a super sensuous experience or experience that transcends these senses. But the senses are no longer in play. There's a first experience. So that's why he says, where he known him from inner experience that God exists. It's not that what is read in the books or what is heard from elsewhere, or it's not based on some faith, oh, this is what it is. No. It's a clear inner experience. That's why, the spiritual experiences are always classified as Swasam Vedya, not Parasam Vedya. It's one's own experience. The experiencer alone can clarify. Supposing you say you have realized God, no one else can certify for that. You and you alone would know without doubt. There would not be even an iota of doubt in the mind of the experiencer. That's why, so Gata Sangsaya Dhrida Nishchaya. Then there is no longer any doubt about that. As long as there is doubt, as long as you seek validation, know for certain that we have not got it. But one goes beyond that. There is a spontaneous grasp of that ultimate or God or whatever it is, a glimpse, then one knows for certain that God's there, then there's no longer any doubt about it. Then, so here he gives a beautiful analogy to explain this idea. He says, the master of the house is asleep in a dark room. Someone is groping in the darkness to find him. And he touches the couch and says, no, it is not he. He touches the window, it is not he. Touches the door and says, it is not he. It is known in Vedanta as the process of neti neti. At last, his hand touches the master's body and he explains, here he is. In other words, he is now conscious of the existence of the master. He has found him, but does not know him very intimately. It's a very beautiful example. He says, someone is searching for a master who is in a dark room. Actually, our search for God is also like that. It's like groping in the dark. We do not know. You have some idea, you have heard somewhere, you have read some books, you have been into some temple or some mutt or ashrama or somewhere, some tradition, either from childhood or from parents or some family culture. Somehow we are picked up, and then it goes. So it's like groping in the dark only. But then, the beauty is, even in the search, that is why, one is called Pravartaka. He has come to search, but he's come to search at the right place. So, even in sadhana and everywhere, if you adapt something which is totally unspiritual, you are wrongly guided with somewhere, you has landed in some place, then, it may be a very winding and circuitous path. Coming to the right place, even to search for God, even in spiritual life, to know what it should be done in the right way. You have not done it. You are just beginning the journey. You have come to know about these truths, these realities, etc. You want to search for it in the right place, in the right way, in the right atmosphere, with the right company. All those things, that's what make you a real pravartaka. Then only your search will be meaningful, and then only it will be, successful. And then, as he gropes in the dark, he says he touches this, he touches that, he says he is not the master, he is not neti neti. So it is something like, a pravartaka, he does all those disciplines, japa, meditation, vichara, neti niti, whatever it is. So he's still in the stage of searching. And then he says, suddenly he touches the master. He has not come to know him intimately. But once he touches the master, he knows for certain that he has touched him, he has touched the reality. Then afterwards, there is no doubt in the mind about the reality of the God or truth. This is the third stage, which is Sri Ramakrishna compares to a siddha, a person who has inner experience about the reality or existence of God, and afterwards there is no longer any doubt in the mind of that person. This is the stage of being a siddha. And then he goes on to add, there is another type known as the siddha of siddha, the supremely perfect. It is quite a different thing. When one talks to the master intimately, when one knows God very intimately through love and devotion, a siddha has undoubtedly attained God, but the supremely perfect, the siddha, has known God very intimately. So, there also Thakur makes a beautiful gradation. Somehow people do get some glimpse, something, some vision, some darshan, something happens. That's okay. Then that gives you complete certainty about spiritual life. You are sure you are what you are seeking. Supposing one has touched the master, then one knows that yes, this is what I have been seeking. Otherwise, if you get something else, it doesn't matter. What you are seeking, if you are see that experience, will give you complete certainty. This is what I have been seeking, and I have touched it. So afterwards, there is no doubt in the mind, there is no vacillation. Then the person has to only intensify the effort. So all the initial work, all the hard labor, etc., has been done. And just that breakthrough has been achieved. Now, to become the Siddha, one has to intensify, one has to do it, but then there is no longer any doubt because the person knows he is in the room and he has touched him. So only to wake him up and then sit and talk to him and so on, that is being the perfect or the supremely perfect or the person who has known God very intimately. Senior Swami gave a very beautiful analogy to explain this difference between the Siddha and Siddha of Siddha, who has just known God and was known him without any doubt. Or I mean something that he says, supposing you are searching for a address in a very in an unknown place. You're going there for the first time. You've got the address, you've got the landmark, everything is written on a piece of paper on your hand. With that you are going. You're going on a search. Now it's very dark, it's raining heavily, you're not able to see anything, nothing is visible. Somehow because you've heard this or that, then suddenly there is a flash of lightning. In the flash of lightning, you clearly see the house, the number, the description, the houses nearby, etc. That is Siddha. In a flash, he has known that. Then, afterwards, even if it rains, even if it is dark also, because beyond any uncertainty, beyond any doubt, the person has clearly seen the goal, seen the place, then the search is simply, he knows he has to intensify and go and reach there at all. The person is no longer in any doubt because he has made the first breakthrough. Through that lightning has got a glimpse of the ultimate. So, then Siddha simply goes forward, marches forward because, see, all the why the initial breakthrough is so difficult because we are so much assailed with doubts and difficulties and problems and our samskaras, so many things. So, breaking through all those hurdles and barriers, when you make the first breakthrough, then you know for certain there is no longer any doubt about the ultimate. Now I have to only intensify that effort to reach that goal. Then it becomes a very beautiful effort afterwards. Then the person knows, yes, let it rain, let there be darkness. I don't mind because I know I have seen that place. I only have to go and reach that. It may take a little time, maybe a little far away, or whatever it is. I may have to go through a very narrow lane, there may be waterlogging, but there is no doubt or uncertainty about the goal. So the perfect, the Siddha of Siddha, because he has had a glimpse of the ultimate or the reality or God or the Ishtar, his march is far more easier and there is a certain amount of certainty in that person's approach. And then obviously as one goes forward, one becomes very intimate with God, knows Him, talks to Him and so on. That's what great souls like Ramakrishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they could speak to God with such intimacy and in such terms. But Sri Ramakrishna says, but in order to realize God, one must assume one of these attitudes. So it's what, they earlier also have discussed. So the problem in spiritual life is, when you think of God, when you think of Ishtar, whatever it is, whatever you are given during initiation or whatever you are taken up in serious practice, what happens, there is a tremendous amount of disconnect. See, in all our relationships in the world, there is a clear, defined relationship. There is a husband or wife, or a son or a daughter, or father or mother, or brother or sister, or friends, or known, everybody. It's all well defined. But in the case of God, the relationship is totally murky and clouded and unclear, and we do not know. God is there or entity, I am there. What is the connection? That's why Sri Ramakrishna, he says in several times it comes in the gospel. There are one class of devotees who just pray for liberation. They are the normal people, he says, normal devotees. Who are the special ones, who are the antarangas? They want to know only three things. Who am I? Who they are? And what is our relationship? That is the most important thing. Samparka. See, that is why this class of devotees are more special. Because, when you go and pray in any temple to God, Kali, Krishna, whatever it is, one need not And probably one does not also think so much about what is my relationship with Kali, what is my relationship with Krishna. Krishna is there as a all-powerful, all-blissful, all-compassionate God or entity. You go on this thing, and just like supposing a rich man comes to distribute alms, the beggar does not think that what is my relationship with this rich man. I want money, I'm begging, here is a person who is giving and I will get it, that's all. He is a giver, he is a benefactor, he is a dani, he is a charitable person. That's all. There is no other. But that's why Sri Ramakrishna. So those who just only aspire for liberation or mukti, they don't specifically think of any special intimate relationship with Thakur and all that. They are worried as to, I get it, how, that's all. But he says those who are intimate, in fact, they are the people who really get it and get it quicker also, because they are solving the major problems in spirituality. What is the ultimate? What is God? What is Shishta? Who am I? And what is our relationship? How am I connected? See, all our prayer, all our japa, all our meditation, they all lack that rasa, or that special quality of that joy or a delight or ananda, because of the absence of clarity in this relationship. That's why Ramakrishna says one must assume one of these attitudes. So with that attitude, one develops a relationship with God. Says as a Shanta, serene attitude. The rishis of olden times had this attitude towards God. They did not desire any worldly enjoyment. It's like the single-minded devotion of a wife to her husband. She knows that her husband is the embodiment of beauty and love, a veritable madana. So, here also, obviously, as the intimacy or the closeness of the relationship with the Ishta or chosen deity intensifies accordingly as you go further. But here, this much says, yes, it is God, and I have this attitude towards Him. Anyway, here also is getting connected to God. Then, it's a little more intimate relationship is dasya, the attitude of a servant towards master. Hanuman had this attitude towards Rama. See, Hanuman, so here the deity or the Ishta is considered far superior, and the person, the devotee, feels himself or herself to be very inferior, subservient, like a servant. A servant to the master. The master is far superior. You can pray to the master for his kindness, for his benevolence, for his gifts, and so on. But then, there's always a sense of awe, sense of fear, a distance. That way, it's intimate only in the sense that I am absolutely, totally faithful servant without any doubt whatsoever. That kind of a intimacy. But here also, there is that kind of a relationship. He felt the strength of a lion when he worked for Rama, because he knows that my master is there to protect me always. I don't have to worry about anything. I can just jump, cross over the ocean, do anything. You can go into the kingdom of palace of Ravana and attack him also, because my Rama is there to protect him. Complete faith in God and feeling that I am his servant. So he says, of course, in other relations also to some extent this might be seen, but the highest example they say is the attitude of a true servant, just as a Hanuman. A wife also feels this mood. She serves her husband with all her heart and soul. Mother also has this little attitude towards Shoda, but predominantly it's only the Hanuman's example where one is a true servant to the master. It's always quoted as the highest and the most perfect idea of a relationship. Then the third is, Sakhya, the attitude of friendship. Friends say to one another, come here, sit near me. Sridama and other friends sometimes fed Krishna with fruit, part of which they had already eaten, and sometimes climbed on his shoulders. So, here again, the relationship becomes even more refined, where there's a sense of kind of equanimity with God. Doesn't feel that, in master-servant relationship, the master is far superior. But here it's Sakha, it's a friend. So I don't have to worry anything. He's my very friend. I can take liberties with him. So this is a more intimate relationship. This way, says Sridhama and others sometimes used to feed Krishna with a fruit they had partly tasted themselves. So because of the intimacy, so that they never felt that is God is much superior, we have to keep a distance and we are ordinary mortals. No, they felt so intimate that they could take liberties with him. And then Vatsalya, the relation becomes even more refined, where, the mother towards child, Yashoda's attitude towards Krishna. The wife too has a little of this. She feels her husband with her very ripe blood, as it were. The mother feels happy only when the child is eaten to his heart's content. Yashoda would roam about with butter in her hand in order to feed Krishna. So here, why it becomes even more refined. Here, it's not only a sense of equanimity or being equal to God, it's even feeling that unless I look after Krishna, who would look after him? Madhyata, they say. They talk of two relationships in the Vaishnava Goswamis, those classical Vaishnava scriptures. It's a very famous book by Goswami. So he says, where unless I look after Krishna, who will look after him? I have to take care of him. So that kind of intimacy towards God is even above being a Sakha or a friend. So obviously is even superior. And finally, the culmination is in the Madhur Bhava, the attitude of woman towards a Paramar. Radha had the attitude towards Krishna. The wife also feels for her. Actually, in the Madhura Bhava, all the other attitudes are all kind of subsumed or they are contained in it. But Madhura Bhava is such that everything, for Radha, there was absolutely complete self-effacement. Only Sri Krishna. Whatever was good for Sri Krishna, whatever would give happiness to Sri Krishna. So she was Sri Krishna Mohi. Only Krishna was the only entity that mattered. No idea about one's body, mind, samaj, man, sanman, nothing mattered. Sri Krishna alone mattered. So that way, it's even superior to the attitude of this Vatsalya, because here this is a kind of divine madness for the Lord, that is Sri Krishna. That's what when one has that kind of a relationship with someone outside in a different way, that then people go berserk. They don't care for anything. They don't care for norms. They don't care for society. They don't care for shame or this or that. That in a huge million form is what is called this Madhura Bhava, where one feels such kind of intimacy with the Lord. That is, there is nothing else in Radha's mind other than the happiness and the comfort and the welfare of well-being of Sri Krishna, and completely effacing oneself and being completely being kind of merged with the Lord of the Supreme. That is a supreme attitude in the Madhura Bhava. Then, Master asks, does one see God with these eyes? So he has very big difficulty. How does one see God? Is it possible to see with these eyes? Because Ramkrishna had in Kadamrita also in many places, even in Lila again and again about his visions, etc., are all mentioned. But Ramkrishna here gives some kind of a hint. He says, cannot see him with the physical eyes. In the course of spiritual discipline, when one becomes an intense sadhaka, at very high advanced stage of spiritual life, one is endowed with Premier Chakshu. This is what Sri Ramakrishna says. Very poorly translated as love eyes. What is, I don't know what this term means, love eyes. But Sri Ramakrishna, I think in the Bengali, says Premier Chakku, the eye of that kind of a divine love, madness for God. Says eyes, ears, love, all the organs, they become love, ears. Everything becomes love. Even organ of sex also becomes love. Then say Yam burst laughing. And then, but Sri Ramakrishna, he never bothered about it. He was just only speaking, in a very, he himself was in a very divine state. He continued, with the love body, the soul communes with God. Then, see, when the whole body when the whole normal physicality, the idea of flesh and blood and the mind and all the things are completely erased and removed, when a kind of a new structure, as it were, a highly rarefied, purified, divine kind of a body, you can say, that body full of prema, there's nothing else other than that, then there's a different kind of communion with God. It's not like, that's why, you may, when in prayer, one might use expressions and we try to talk to God also in a normal way. But this communion is very different, where this absolute intimacy, because the worshipper or the devotee has developed such organs where there is completely, it's full of prema, nothing else, and the communion is possible. M again became serious. Shyamkrishna says, but this is not possible without intense love of God. See, actually, the love of God only culminates in that Premier Chakku, Premier Khan, etc., etc. Because, one starts as first, it's a very burning desire to have his vision, to experience him, and so on. As one goes on and on and on and on, at higher and higher levels, and the intensity of the highest order, then probably all your physicality, the senses and all that, they all get probably completely burnt up, giving rise to a new kind of a structure full of prema or supreme love of God. And that structure is possible to commune with God, to have his vision, talk to him, and so on. So he gives an example. One sees nothing but God everywhere when one loves him with great intensity. There will be nothing else. That is all, because there is nothing else for that person to see. That person is not interested even in the least in anything else, including one's own body, which is our dearest. No awareness even his own body, because the whole body has become completely consumed by that fire of love for Sri Krishna or the Ishta. So there is nothing left of anything earthly in that personality. So that is why he sees only God everywhere. So we see, in the Gopi Leela Sixta, how Radha, every tree, everything for her, it should talk only about Sri Krishna, only about that. Then he gives an example. It's like a person with jaundice who sees everything yellow. Then one feels, I am verily he. So Radha, she had no separate identity other than Krishna. Then, again another example gives. A drunkard deeply intoxicated says, verily I am Kali. The gopis intoxicated with love exclaimed, verily I am Krishna. Of course, what is done at the earthly level, at the level of the senses, like a drunkard or a person having jaundice and all that, certainly analogy is true only to that extent. The Guru Maharaj will explain also. One thinks of God day and night, beholds him everywhere. So a man seeing flames on all sides, after his gaze fixedly at one flame for some time. I think we can also experiment. We keep on looking constantly at a flame for quite some time. Afterwards, even if you turn your eyes here and there, everywhere you see only flame for some time, for a few seconds. So in the same way, for completely immersed in that idea of God day and night, you only behold him everywhere. But M is still not aware of this kind of a condition. He thinks that, but that is not the real flame. So it's a kind of a illusion, or a kind of a hallucination, seeing flame everywhere. The flames that are seen everywhere are not real. There's only one real flame. It's only an illusion. Is it like that? But Sri Ramakrishna, who could read a man's inmost thoughts, said, one doesn't lose consciousness by thinking of him who is all spirit. So when you see God everywhere, it's not like illusion. It's not like seeing something which is unreal, which is within the realm of the senses. It is beyond that. So even a person who sees Brahman everywhere, consciousness everywhere, that is that complete oneness. That idea is very different. It is not this. So he says, all Shivanatman Simmat, that too much thinking of God confounds the brain. Thereupon I said to him, how can one become unconscious, but thinking of consciousness? Yes, sir. I realize that it isn't like thinking of an unreal object. How can a man lose his intelligence if he always fixes his mind on him, whose very nature is eternal intelligence? Now, Yam has got some idea, some clarity about it. It's not like seeing a flame for some time and then looking around and then seeing everywhere it is unreal and illusion. It's not illusion. It's all complete Chaitanya reality. All constantly, there's a one idea, one consciousness, one awareness possessing that person completely. So there is a big difference. Sri Ramakrishna says with pleasure, it is through God's grace you understand doubt. You understand that. The doubts of the mind will not disappear without His grace. Doubts do not disappear without self-realization. So, how is it possible? How does one see only God everywhere? See, it's only an idea, just to give an explanation, to give him some glimpse of what it is like. Sri Ramakrishna gave some earthly example, like it can be like this, maybe it is like this. But in reality, that experience is far, far superior, it's very, very different. It's not that, see here, if you see like that, and if you rub your eyes, it will all go. Only one flame you will see. When you try to retain that, only for some time it would. Even otherwise, normally also it will go away after a few minutes. And if you rub your eyes, immediately it will go away. But it is not like this. A person who is possessed by God, who is day and night thinking of Him only, his consciousness is completely saturated with that kind of God consciousness. Radha did not see Sri Krishna just for a moment. Wherever she would turn, whichever direction, to whomever she would talk, for her, only Sri Krishna, nothing else. Nothing else was visible to her. Nothing else was there with whom she could contact or converse or talk to her. Nothing. So it's not a momentary or temporary unreal experience like a person with a jaundiced eyes or someone seeing the flame for some time. It's something eternal, permanent, not tempered or not punctured by any other interval or anything like that. So, he says, but the doubts will not disappear without God's grace. Doubt do not disappear without self-realization. So that's why, till one crosses that first threshold, till one gets that first real glimpse into that ultimate, the reality or whatever it is, one is constantly assailed by doubts and difficulties, problems, everything they keep on occurring. But by relentless pursuit, if one crosses that threshold, then it's only, then the sadhana doesn't become easier, it becomes more intense maybe. But there is certainty in that sadhana. There is no longer any doubt because that person has seen beyond doubt, had a glimpse of the truth. But one need not fear anything if one has received the grace of God. It is rather easy for a child to stumble if he holds his father's hand, but there can be no such fear if the father holds the child's hand. It's often Sri Ramakrishna gives this example. So when walking over a field, if the child holds the father's hand, that means the child is making effort on its own to stay clear, to stay on foot, stay in balance. So it is thinking that my self-effort, there is an assumption, there is a play of ego in the child's mind, thinking that my effort is enough for me to be steady, be on my feet and go walk properly. But where the father holds the child's hand, it means the child is completely surrendered. This complete surrender to God, where the devotee says, no, it is not possible for me to cross over the samsara. You must take hold of my hand. You must take me forward. So it's a complete state of self-surrender. But that self-surrender, how is it possible unless you have that faith that, yes, he is the person who can take me across the ocean of samsara. So, a man does not have to suffer anymore if God in His grace removes doubts and reveals himself to him. But this grace depends upon him only after he has prayed to God with intense burning of heart and practice spiritual discipline. So, in a descending order, he comes back now. So, it's not possible. There will be tremendous doubts. So, when the grace of God, the doubts are removed. But this doesn't happen unless a person has prayed to God with intense earning and has practiced spiritual disciplines. So the mother feels compassion for a child when she sees him running about breathlessly. She has been hiding herself. Now she appears before the child. So the child has made enough effort. It's not that the mother straight away goes and presents herself before the child. The child has to run, has to make every effort, has to gasp for breath and all that. Then the mother finally she's happy that the child has put in enough effort. She has tested whether he has genuine love for her. Then she appears. Then, of course, M is thinking, but why should God make us run about? We are all His creation, we are all His children. Why not He be compassionate and straight away give us everything? Why make us run around? Immediately, Ramakrishna said, it is His will that we should run about a little. Then it is great fun. God has created the world in play, as it were. This is called Mahamaya, the great illusion. See, there are certain things like uh, when you look at it, when we look at life in a particular way, it looks extremely difficult. So many things we are not able to explain. Why somebody is suffering, why there is poverty, why there is death, why there is something else. What is it? God, we say, is all merciful, is compassionate, and so on. Why it is happening like that? All that. But I'm supposing, you're sitting in a theater, you're watching a cinema or a drama or a yatra, as they used to say in Bengal. So there are so many things. Somebody there, a person, a very, very good person, is being robbed on the stage. A thief comes and blinds him. I mean, he ties his hands and feet and puts a blindfold and then robs him, takes everything. Well, see things with anger, even while seeing it. So real, so thrilling. But then, in our heart of hearts, it's all only drama. And at the end of the day, you don't go and ask the police to arrest the person, the thief who robbed the gentleman of his money or cash or valuables. It's all play only. In the drama itself, the scene of police trying to arrest and the man evading, all that would happen. But because you are positioned himself completely as a witness, you are just watching the drama. So however real it might look, and the moment the lights are on, no, we have to go back, no, catch the Ola or Uber or whatever it is, rush home this time, and then you have to finish it tomorrow, you have to report to the college, the classes will be there, and so on. All those things come and so we know it's all, but then the world is also like that. But then somehow because if you're part of the drama, if you are in the drama itself. Supposing you are playing one of the actors, one of the roles, it's very difficult for you. If you always imagine this only a drama, you will never perform well. You will be a poor performer. But the actors there, they get so involved. They are so real. Then for that moment they think that the person who puts on the vesh of Ravana, he upset Sita. Sita is goddess spirit. Will you ever? He said, no. I should do pranam to her. I'm abducting her. Then it's gone. The whole yatra is finished. If people will laugh, what is this mockery, tamasha that is going on? The more you play the part of villain perfectly, then only it will be appreciated. But in this world, we're all, that's why Shakespeare, although he was not a philosopher, he says the world is a drama. We're all actors playing our parts. It's really that. Supposing if you think that, see, only thing is, the normal drama or cinema is a much less of a time span, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours. The drama of the world, larger, maybe 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. For some, even then it is 1 day, half a day, 1 minute, 2 minutes. But the moment you are born, you also die. There are people who die at the age of 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 90. So in the duration, the scenes, the drama, the scenes enacted, etc., it's all like that. But we really think, if you sit calmly and if you think, it's a perfect, much more complicated theme that kind of a drama only. The scenes are more scenic, more real-like, more appealing, more complex, more various kinds of emotions and so on. In reality, it's also a drama. If you sit and think, what is what? What is this? What is the relationship we build? Husband and wife and children and relatives and in-laws and these things are all, suddenly one day, supposing we go, where does it all that end? It comes to an abrupt end. That scene is over in the drama. It's gone. The actors play that his role is over. He goes away. Supposing someone plays one of the role of the monkeys in the battle, or one of the Rakshasa. The moment he dies, he gets up, comes back, removes his dress, etc., and comes and sits because he knows he no longer has to act. It is over for him. So, if you think very deeply, I think that is the best way. Otherwise, we can never understand why this world is like this, why there is injustice, why somebody should be poor, why someone apparently a good person, why there is so much suffering in his life. So many questions, they're all completely unanswered. Nothing. Every day we get hundreds of questions for which we have no answer. But if you understand life itself in that kind of a context, probably it will make a tremendously different meaning. This is what it is. What is that? Why should we? After all, it's just as we don't. Even if you are moved by emotions when you see Chaitanya Leela in a drama, but then afterwards you get up, you wash your face or you wipe your tears, and then you drink water and some cool drinks, and then you walk happily. Oh, how nice the drama was! How beautifully he played his part. But the world is also like that. But because we are actors, we are part of it, we are unable to segregate ourselves, keep ourselves a witness, and see what is really happening. That's really that. There's nothing, really, there is no ultimate substance, there is no deeper significance or meaning in all that we do in a real sense. It's all temporary only, all ephemeral, all uh, uh, absolutely of limited duration, limited existence, or impermanent and unreal in that sense. So, but then because we get completely involved in that, then we suffer, we cry, we weep, we are happy. All these things are all part of that drama one day. So he says this is called Mahamaya, the great illusion. Therefore, one must take refuge in the Divine Mother, the cosmic power itself. The she was boundless with the shackles of illusion. The realization of God is possible only when those shackles are severed. So, as long as we are in the drama only, we keep on participating, this and that, there is no relief. But the moment you come out of it, you're free from all that, then you can understand this is what it is. There's nothing else apart from that. There's no real substance in it. And then you really come out of it. And then we should. Huh? So it's not that, I think probably he will say that. Why should God make us run about? It's not that God is unjust or God is cruel and he likes us to suffer and all that. It's not like that. It just, it's all for him, it's all divine play, divine Maya. So the individual jiva also, once it becomes a sadhaka, becomes a serious aspirant, and slowly knows the nature of the world, the relationships, etc., then one is able to appreciate this divine Leela of the God. And then one becomes a willing, beautiful partner. And then one is no longer worried about the consequences or this or that. And one is able to see, would that change the nature of this world or this or that? No. That will only, the world would not change. Our world view would change. You know that, see, once you understand it is the nature of a drama, the scenes of the drama don't change. You only know that it's going to be like that. You are prepared to go through the whole thing, watch it till it is completely gone through, and then you come out saying that, oh, it was a very nice drama. So I think, it's a very difficult practice, but probably the most wonderful way of looking at world. Otherwise, you'll never be able to solve the riddle of this world. Why it is suffering? Why in one tsunami, why should 1 million people die together? Even your law of karma also will become very meaningless. Is it like that? So many people had such karma phala that 1 million should die together. So it's all very difficult to explain. So the only way is, can you look at life like that? If you think deeply, probably that would give you a tremendous awareness about life. Huh? Stop here. If you have anything to ask for a few minutes, otherwise we'll maybe next week we'll take it back again, take forward. Huh?
Thank you, Maharaj.
This is today is
Today is the 5th of October.
5th of October. Yes. Okay. Yes.
It was a wonderful and a very enthralling discussion about this Mahamaya and how we are
Yes.
all, characters playing out
Yeah.
different parts and multiple parts in the same thing, the same body.
Yeah.
Sometimes the mother,
Yeah,
sometimes.
even in cinemas, there used to be famous, double actor. They would say the one actor playing two roles. He played.
We
Those
play
was the very
multiple
famous.
roles. Not
Yeah.
1, 2,
Such
3.
a very famous cinemas like that. This is also more.
Yes, yes. So yes,
See, nowadays in real videos they post like that. Same person doing 2, 3 roles. Different place they shoot and together they present one video.
video. Yeah,
Even in videos.
and that only thing is that the time span, as you mentioned, is so long,
Yeah.
and it becomes with the happy moments, the time span shortens. So it is, but here again, the way we look at the world, we have to change the world view, which you said, which is very, very correct. But changing the world views again, we are bound by our samskaras.
Yeah, that is why for that only you need sadhana, you need practice, you need the company of the holy, you read such books which will give a different perspective to everything, to change your mindset.
Right. Yes. So that is the real thing. So that sadhana, everything boils down to the sadhana and the spiritual practice and the holy company.
Yes.
There's nothing without sadhana. Even if we be the witness, but then we still have to do the sadhana.
No, the idea of practicing the witnesshood itself is a sadhana. Constantly trying to remain in that, that's also a sadhana. And can practice that also very intensely.
Yes, but you also mentioned that if we are only a witness, and then we will not be able to perform our roles, the various roles, very effectively.
Yeah, but that is true. But then when you look at life, when others, etc., then it is that idea of witness. Then when it comes to you, with that idea and background, when you perform, you'll perform all right. You know that is what I had seen. This is what it is.
Okay, so so then we should try to do the way like Swamiji tells us to do karma yoga. So do the work to the best of your ability.
Yes.
Without thinking of the results.
So, so it's all, combine all these to the extent possible. That's why we'll be able to do.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Namaskar. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Very Om Tat Sat. Ram Krishna Paramastu. Namaskar. Thank you.
Maharaj, namaskar. चले ही गया